morning, my dear friend. This is the book that I'm going to be reading to you today. It's called Maybe, Maybe Not. It's by Robert Fulghum, who you may recognize as, you may have seen an excerpt from one of his books called Everything I Ever Needed to Know in Life I Learned in Kindergarten, which was very popular at one time. Was a poster that you would see often. But let's see, where do I want to start here with this? This is a really cool book. I enjoy this. He's a good writer. Well, here's a good one. This one was fun. She was called Lovey. Real name, true story. She taught me how to swear and dip snuff, how to sing the blues and iron shirts. 5 days a week she did the housework and cooking for my family. My mother worked in the family business during the years I was in high school. When I came home each afternoon, Lovey was there to look after me, and there to continue my education in subjects not taught in school. She was young, perhaps 35, with fine features, curly black hair, and light brown skin. Neat and precise in her habits, strong and clear in her opinions. Unmarried, she took care of her blind father, who played guitar and sang on the downtown streets with the tin cup on the sidewalk in front of him. Lovey didn't fit the cultural stereotype of the hymn-singing, humble mammy. Maybe my mother thought of her that way, but behind my mother's back, Lovey mimicked her, sang raunchy songs, dipped snuff, bad-mouthed white folks, and used all the foul language a rebellious teenager like myself so admired. My mother thought of Lovey as a babysitter, but Lovey was in truth the high priestess in charge of the rituals of my coming of age. Thereby one of the most influential people in my life then and now. One day she handed me her snuff can, said she knew I was just waiting for a chance to get into it when she wasn't looking, so I might as well learn how to dip snuff right. First, get a little twig from the yard and chew the end soft and wet. Then dip the twig into the snuff and put the end of the twig under your tongue and suck on it. After about 3 dipping sucks, I got sick and dizzy and had to lie down for a while. My respect for Lovey went up, since she could handle strong tobacco and I couldn't. But thanks to her, I could boast to my peers, hell yes, I've used snuff. For some reason, she gave me my first drink of homemade corn liquor, with similar results. For the rest of my life, I left snuff and corn liquor alone. When my mother wasn't around, Lovey sang the blues. I didn't know it was the blues at the time. I just thought that it was Lovey. It was what Lovey sang. She didn't sing about Jesus or heaven or sweet chariots. Her singing was about getting up in the morning and dealing with the day, about love and sex and sorrow, about disappointment and not having any money, and the roof leaking, and jelly rolls, and catching the next train for Chicago, and finding some man better than the one who never came around anymore. I could relate. Oh, could I relate? I was an adolescent, undersized, oversexed, ugly, skinny, pimply, and lonely. In need of cash, a good time, a good woman, along with better grades in my own car. Sing them blues. About the same time that orthodontia, hormones, genes, a Burr haircut with ducktails, and a 37 Chevrolet improved my self-image, Lovey announced to me that it was time for me to learn to iron my shirts. To iron my own shirts. I had no idea what was involved in ironing a shirt because Lovey ironed alone, always in the best room of the house, the dining room, where there was lots of light and a good view down the street. Sometimes when I got home from school, she'd just be finishing up, always in a good mood, then singing and talking and laughing to herself. But my respect for Lovey was such a thing that if ironing was good for her, it was good enough for me. Here's what I learned. First, you have to start with good shirts, all heavy white cotton, or you're wasting your time. Be sure to check the pockets and shake the shirt to get rid of any lint or loose dirt. Check the buttons to make sure that they are all in good shape. Then you've got to wash right. Wash whites separately. Never wash coloreds and whites together. Use a tiny bit of bleach and bluing and starch so the shirts come out the color of frosted ice. Hang the shirts outside in the sunshine until they are not quite dry. Wrap them in a clean white damp dish towel and put them in the refrigerator. Next, set up your ironing board, making sure the cover is clean and tight. Then put it in the right place where you like it to be, where you feel good. Get a cola bottle with a sprinkling head on it and fill the bottle with cold water. Get some hangers. Get your iron, big heavy iron, and make sure the bottom is clean. Plug the iron in and set the heat at high. Sit a spell, have a cup of coffee. Don't hurry. Get one shirt at a time out of the refrigerator, understanding from the beginning that you're going to iron around the shirt 3 times. The first time is to smooth the wrinkles and set the shirt. Sprinkle a little water this time on any place that's not damp. The second time around is to press the shirt dry and sharp. The third time is to tidy the little places and finish the collar and cuffs real stiff. Each time you go around in this order: cuffs, both sides; sleeves, collar, both sides, backside first, ironing away from the points; then the front placket, backside first, top to bottom, stretching the fabric; then all the way around from front to back, then carefully around the buttons. Do it all over again. Get the shoulders and the high back yoke this time really carefully, the mark of a professional. Make sure the shirt is crisp and dry. The last time around, you just check to see that you haven't missed a single wrinkle and that the cuffs and collar are perfectly smooth. Even the finest workman needs to inspect his work critically. Carefully now, you place the shirt on a hanger, button just the top button. Finally, you hang it out in the sunshine to give it a fresh smell. When you've done one shirt, sit down, take a little break, have some snuff. Never, never hurry. You'll scorch the shirt and scorch your soul. When I complained that this was sure a lot of trouble to go over a shirt, Lovey explained, "You'll never regret knowing how to do at least one thing exactly right. And if you don't do it right the first time, when will you find time to go back and do it over?" It took Lovey about the same amount of time to iron a shirt as it has taken me to explain her style. She didn't rush, but she was efficient. It took me most of an afternoon to iron one shirt. Even then I scorched the collar. But after a while I got the hang of it. It was a proud moment when Lovey inspected a shirt I had ironed and said it wasn't bad for a white boy. And Lovey was right. Whatever success or failure I've had at whatever else I've tried to do, in my heart I hold this rock-solid fact. At least I can iron a shirt right. A shirt that could be put in the shirt ironing hall of fame. In 1972, I went to Japan to live in a Buddhist monastery to seek spiritual enlightenment. Unable to accommodate myself to the austere discipline of the silent sitting meditation, I was introduced to active meditation. Practiced alone and silently, this involved doing mundane tasks in a deliberate fashion so as to focus the mind. As the teacher explained, given careful attention, any activity may become a window on the universe and a doorway to understanding. While raking the gravel paths in the monastery garden, I had an "oh, of course" experience. I realized that I knew about this. This wasn't Buddhism, it was Loveyism. Raking a gravel path right was just like ironing a shirt right. As has been the case so often in my life, I had gone to a great deal of trouble and expense to find out something I already knew. I recall the details of ironing a shirt because that's still the way I do it. To this day, I usually tend my own shirts, only because it gives me solitary pleasure, the kind we all enjoy alone when doing our nails or taking a bath or shaving or weeding the garden or chopping wood or knitting or baking bread or hanging sheets out on the clothesline. Sure, sometimes these activities are just a matter of taking care of personal business or routine tasks, but as often as not, we use these times to reflect and talk to ourselves, or meditate, even pray. Just because you aren't on your knees in church or sitting still in a cramped position doesn't mean you can't be talking to God. Just because both you and God are busy doesn't mean that you can't be in touch. Such times are the sacred part of the secret life. Such times keep my soul sane. When I asked my mother difficult questions, she would avoid complicated explanations by saying, "Someday you'll understand." Lovey taught me that while I was waiting for some understanding to come, I could iron a shirt. That's it. I really enjoy that chapter. And if you like this, I'll pick out some other good ones from here and read them to you. So I hope you enjoyed this.